eternally, so that a man can emerge in Israel who will be ruling Israel and who would rule the world from Jerusalem. And that man would declare, I am the Messiah. We know it in Islam, if you don't know it. We know it, and we can explain it to you. That man is the Antichrist. That man is Dajjal, the false Messiah. And unless you study this subject, your understanding of international politics, your understanding of international economics, your understanding of international monetary economics would be inadequate. Israel, however, cannot rule the world until Israel wages a big war and the territory of the state were to expand dramatically to encompass the biblical frontiers, the false biblical frontiers, of course, from the river of Egypt to the river Euphrates. Israel cannot wage that big war so long as Pakistan has nuclear weapons. And so all the maneuverings on the chessboard in Pakistan and in northwestern Pakistan and in Afghanistan does not fool us. We know what's your target. We know that your target is to destroy Pakistan's nuclear plants, destroy Pakistan's nuclear weapons, and remove Pakistan from the nuclear club. Because so long as Pakistan possesses nuclear weapons, it poses a threat to Israel in her ambition to rule the world. Similar is the case with Iran and its missile capacity. If this is the political scenario towards which we are moving in the world, what is the economic linkages with that political scenario, this political analysis? In order for Britain to become a ruling state, Britain had, among other things, Britain had to control money in the world. It was not by accident, but rather by design, that the Bank of England emerged in 1697, I think, and began issuing the first paper currencies. And these paper currencies were supposed to be redeemable. That is, you could take it to the bank and get the gold. And then, of course, if I did it, they'd lock me up and throw me in jail. You issue more paper than you have gold. You create money out of nothing. And then when the people realize that, there's a run on the bank and the whole thing collapses and people are ripped off. It happened at the end of the 17th century. And the same thing has been repeating and repeating and repeating again and again and again and again. When the Bretton Woods Accord emerged in 1944, it was just a more sophisticated arrangement for precisely the same scam. By 1971, Bretton Woods had collapsed so that the scam could move forward. The US dollar is the only currency in the world which was redeemable in gold at $35 an ounce. All the rest of the paper money in the world were not redeemable. They're like checks you can't catch. You could only change one check for another at a fixed exchange rate. But then in 1971, when Charles de Gaulle intervened in the matter, Bretton Woods collapsed. Richard Nixon declared, we gave our word, we don't have to keep our word. And he reneged on his treaty obligations under Bretton Woods and the Articles of Agreement of the International Monetary Fund. And so since 1971, it's just paper. You take a piece of paper. You're not going to believe me. You take a piece of paper, since 71. You print a picture on it. You put a number on it. And you say, abracadabra. And you assign an entirely fictitious value to it. We have in our gathering here a distinguished diplomat of the Trinidad and Tobago Foreign Service, my colleague who is here before me, who knows this subject. This is playing God to create wealth out of nothing. And one day they'll have to stand before Allah and answer to Him. Because the only way you can create wealth out of nothing, by assigning this fictitious value to the piece of paper, is that when someone takes that paper, uses it, boy, you have any more US dollars? Come in. The more you accept that money, the more you are made to accept it, because you can't sell oil other than in US dollars. You can't trade. You can't travel. You need hard currency. Ours is soft, you know. That keeps their paper alive. So they can print and print and print and print paper. And the Saudis just keep sending the oil. That's playing God. But that's not the only part of the scam through which they maintain their power and their control. It's not just military power. It's more than that. As they attack the paper, ask the South Africans who are here and they'll tell you about it. How the South African rand was attacked and attacked and attacked. As they attack, they target a currency and they cause that currency to fall in value. Or the IMF demands that you devalue. And as the value of the paper falls, guess what happens? There's a massive transfer of wealth from the unsuspecting masses to a predatory, excuse my language, a predatory, blood-sucking elite. And so it facilitates the political goal of control when you can impoverish them and reduce Bangladesh and reduce Pakistan and reduce Indonesia and reduce Africa to miserable poverty and destitution. Because hungry people, they can't wage any struggle. A hungry man would even worship an idol. What I have done in this brief moment with you, and I want to leave some time for the question and answers, what I've done with you today is to show you from the Quran that there's a parallel between that which went before in Egypt, between Pharaoh and Moses, alayhi salam, and that which is now happening. That one culminated with the destruction of the forces of falsehood and the forces of oppression. And this one will culminate with the destruction of the forces of falsehood and the forces of oppression. All that you have to do, those who follow Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam and who are prepared to stand up for what is truth, regardless of the price you have to pay, and who are not impressed by patacake, bakers, mankind of Islam. All that you have to do is hold on while the storm is blowing. The wisdom of the Lord is great. It is His wisdom at work to test who are His true servants. Who are those who are going to spend all their time fighting over, should you put your hands here or should you put your hands there? Fighting over trivia. Fighting with each other in sectarian conflicts. He belongs to that camp. Me ain't going to listen to him. Excuse my Trinidad language now. He belonged to that camp. He had that kind of, that was his teacher. Me ain't going to listen to him. No, we are brothers. We are sisters. We are pursuing the same goal. We follow the same master, the same leader. If you have to differ with me, do it with love. If you have to differ with each other, do it with respect. Maulana Siddiq and I have been involved in a boxing match for a long time now. He's a heavyweight, I'm not. But our differences